Hotel Echo Lima Lima Oscar. Good evening. Yet again, it's your host, your guy himself, the one and only and truly DLG Repping, otherwise short for Dele London Guna, Space, Romeo Echo Papa Papa Indigo November. Yes, I'm about 10 minutes late. I do apologize. Otherwise, how you guys doing? Hope all is well, and hope you're ready for another all roundup of all this weekend's Premier League games, along with all the goals. So before I get into the roundup of all the Premier League fixtures, all that I want you to do, well, let's start off. In fact, let's start off by saying good morning to you guys. Whether you're just getting up in certain parts of the world, getting ready to take your dogs for a walk, or you're getting ready for a morning jog, or allow me to say good afternoon to you guys, whether you are in the kitchen preparing dinner for your family or some cooking for some friends, whether you're in the library reading books, or whether you're out and about doing shopping or going to a meeting, or allow me to say good night and rest well to you guys who are about to go to bed, reading a book before you sleep. But when you wake up tomorrow morning, just remember it's always a new day, a new beginning. So, yeah, it's another Premier League roundup with all the goals to go through. And I'm going to be talking to you about the games that I've been seeing on Match of the Day, and talking you through some of the teams or some of the games from all of the fixtures, some of the players that participated in scoring goals, participated in doing other things on the pitch, etc. But before I get into it, yeah, show me love, joy, and respect, and smash the thumbs up like button for me, yeah? Do that in abundance. If you can, I'd really appreciate that. On top of that, yeah, share this channel virally all over the globe, especially to your friends and your relatives. And if you're watching me for the first time ever, or this live stream, I do say welcome on board. It's a pleasure to have you guys, or to have you. Just smash the share button for me, yeah, amongst your friends and your relatives, yeah, and tell them to share it amongst their friends and relatives, yeah. If you can do that, so much appreciated. The comment section, if you want to talk about your team, you want to talk about the game that you went to as an away supporter or a home supporter, etc., leave it in the comment section below. And lastly, smash the heck out of that subscribe button for me. Left, right, and center, gloriously but passionately for me, yeah? The road to 1,000 subscribers and over is on. Let's do it by the middle or the beginning of the middle or the end of the new year. Let's do it. Yeah, 2023 could be the year that I get over 1,000 subscribers. So let's go for it. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. And the more that you subscribe, the more love, joy, and respect that you'll get from me when I shout you out for subscribing. So get subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, without further ado, let's get into the 8 fixtures in the Premier League. Let's start off with Manchester United and Everton at Old Trafford. Now, this was a game for Manchester United to push for a top 4 finish in the Champions League places. Whereas, just bear with me a moment. Whoops. Hello. Oh, Eamon. Oh yeah, yeah. What have you got? You like the other side? Yeah. Okay, right, you come here. Yeah, yeah. You want to come in now? Yeah. I'm in the middle of a live stream, but I'll give. Oh, I do apologise. Yeah, that was my neighbour knocking. I was expecting him um earlier on, but that wasn't the reason why I was late earlier. Anyway, Manchester United v Everton at Old Trafford. A fixture that Manchester United have dominated over the years. Everton have only won once in 20 odd years, I believe. However, Manchester United started off fast on the front foot, creating the better of the opportunities. However, in that first half alone, as I've said, Man United created the better of the opportunities. Ellis Sims had a glorious opportunity, clear cut chance, and for me, he scuffed it by putting the ball wide at the far post where he was better off using his laces. That being said, Manchester United got their noses in front through an assist from Jadon Sancho on the right, putting in McTominay, and he smashed the ball past Jordan Pickford. Long after he's made a number of saves after save. If it weren't for Jordan Pickford, who knows what the score could have been at half time. In the second half, Manchester United were in complete control to an extent where Everton came back into it. They had their spell, but never. I don't think they ever registered a shot on target, not to my knowledge. However, Manchester United pressed the button every time, and Jordan Pickford was up to it. Every shot on target was every effort on target, header, shot. He was up to it until a moment of lapse of concentration by Seamus Coleman, where he's trod on the ball, and Marcus Rashford's launched onto it with his pace, found Anthony Martial the substitution, and he's made it 2-0, and he's effectively killed the game. So it finished Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Aston Villa v Nottingham Forest. Always a fixture that I remember in hindsight back in the days. However, Aston Villa obviously were in control, as Emery likes his team to be. He likes his teams in control. That I should know, being an Arsenal fan and him being an Arsenal manager for 18 months. Obviously, it never worked out at the time due to the fact that the personnel at the time were not responding to him. Hence the reason why his dismissal came um, eventually. That being said, he's having a good run of wins with Aston Villa. Um, they started off on the front foot against Forest, and you can see they were the likely team to score. Ollie Watkins looking sharp with a shot just wide. I think Nottingham Forest had an opportunity. I think before they did have that opportunity, Bailey raced down the right, cuts in the cross, missed. I think shot was blocked by the Nottingham Forest defender. Then Brennan Johnson played a 1-2, well, put through by I think it was Morgan Gibbs White, put through on the right. He raced onto it, and unfortunately, the chance never came to anything. I think Emiliano Martinez may have had a save to make in that game, but I think Villa were valued for their lead, and the goal came through not who was it? Not Ollie Watkins. No. Let me think. Oh, the second half goals came from Bertrand Traore, who replaced. I think he replaced Leon Bailey. Well, basically, he's put the ball into the box. John Joe Shelby should have got rid of it. He's touched it onto Bertrand Traore, and he's side-footed it at the back post, 1-0 to Villa, and they were valued for their lead. That being said, Villa were always likely to get the second goal, and Forest had to push to get anything out of the game. So they did get onto the front foot eventually, but Villa were always valued for their lead and valued for the victory, and they sealed the game through a 1-2 from Ollie Watkins to I think isn't it Danny Ings? I think it was. If it weren't Danny Ings, it was Buendia. Buendia, mind you, came close to scoring a superb left-footed drive that went wide. But Ollie Watkins sealed the deal with a 1-2 with a teammate, and before you know it, the ball's been dinked into the back of the net. Fine finish, and Ollie Watkins deserved his goal for all his hard work and effort. So it finished Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Next game, Brentford v Newcastle United at the Community Stadium, or GTEC Community Stadium. Now, Brentford were very much in control in that first half, always on the front foot. They look threatening on set pieces and crosses, and with Ivan Toney, you've always got a chance. And in Bomo playing off him, they're always a handful, him and Ivan Toney. That being said, Brentford thought they had an early first half lead, but for VAR check, it was rightfully ruled out. And as if you haven't seen it, my man, even Ivan Toney was just offside. That being said, Brentford had a penalty, foul committed by a Newcastle defender, Botman on Sade, who I was very impressed with his pace, directness, and he's gone past the left back, and then Dan Burns, and he's been clattered by Botman with a stupid, reckless challenge. Why he done it, I will never know. Just absolutely a moment of madness. But then again, it was a clear penalty, which Ivan Toney took. He stood up, placed it low and hard on the ground, and Nick Pope was up to it. Shout out to one viewer who's watching me. Big up yourself. And then Brentford go and get another penalty. Rico Henry, I believe, was kicked in the head accidentally by Alexander Isak. The referee was told by the VAR, whoever the VAR was, to go and have a look at it on the monitor, and you could clearly see it was a penalty. No arguments about it. And this time around, Ivan Toney puts it to the keeper's right, his left, and made no mistake this time. 1-0 to Brentford. In the second half, Newcastle found some redemption, and redemption they did find. And for me, well, they were always pushing for the equaliser. They were persistent, and the perseverance paid off. Joe Linton, good bit of work on the right, cuts inside. goes to play a low, well, goes to cut it back to a Newcastle player, low cross, but it ricocheted off the goalkeeper, David Raya, off his leg into the back of the net. And then the goal of the game, well, good bit of link up play between Wilson and Isak. Wilson does a good bit of work there, lays it off to lays it off to Alexander Isak, and before you know it, what a fine strike by Isak on the side of his foot into the top bins, more or less, to the keeper's left. David Raya, no chance. 1-0. Oh, what's this? A chat here, live chat here. It says, "Yo, Terry or Ferdinandi, who's better? Yo, Terry or Ferdinand, I think he meant. Who's better? We debate in the household right now." Ah, that's a difficult one. That is a difficult one. Rio Ferdinand had pace. John Terry had he had that bravery and the never die down. He's a guy that will die for his club. If you're asking me who's an all-round better defender, I'd just say John Terry shaded it. That's my view on the Ferdinand John Terry debate. Thank you for that, Wilfred Mboba. If I've pronounced your name wrong, I do apologise for butchering it up. Yeah, Newcastle on the front foot again. Callum Wilson from a corner thought he swiveled past the defender and got the left-footed shot in, but as the ball comes to him, he's controlled it by his hand, and VAR were rightfully, well, VAR told the referee to disallow it, and it was disallowed. But nevertheless, Newcastle held on for victory that they deserved for their second half performance, and that victory took them to third. So it finished Brentford 1, Newcastle 2. Next game, Fulham v West Ham United. A game that was controlled by Fulham from the start to the get go to the to the end. Fulham were obviously playing the better football. I suppose West Ham had a spell in that first half where they must have got on the front foot, just a little spell. Jared Bowen does good work on the right, cuts it back, and Harrison Reed has accidentally converted it into his own net at the back stick, leaving Bernd Leno with no chance. Fulham pushed for an equaliser. I believe they may have hit the post, but I believe Fabianski was kept really busy in the West Ham United goal. And in the second half, West Ham had an opportunity to seal the game, but to get themselves a cushion. But Bernd Leno produced an important save, and Fulham still persevered to get the equaliser. And West Ham, to their credit, they defended pretty well to David Moyes' liking, and they held on to claim an important, massive 3 points. So it finished Fulham 0, West Ham United 1. Leicester City v Bournemouth at the King Power Stadium. Now, for me, Leicester City needed to win. And Bournemouth needed to win, so it was a major 6 pointer. If you're asking me who had the better of the chances on target, it was Bournemouth. They created you could see the XG was higher than Leicester City's in terms of chances created and chances bound to be taken, and a sloppy back pass and a lack of concentration by James Maddison put Billing through, and all Billing has to do is side foot it on target into the back of the net, which he did, and the Cherries are 1-0 up, and you can see the delight on Gary O'Neill's you can see the delight by Gary O'Neill on the touchline. He was delighted with the goal, and it was well deserved for their perseverance. Leicester City spent more or less the first half on the back foot, and Bournemouth went again in the second half, creating opportunities, and they were a lot more. They were a lot more They were a lot more hungrier for the victory. They looked more hungry to win the game. They wanted it. They wanted it a lot more than Leicester City. And to Leicester City standards, with the players they've got, you can see why they're in the bottom two. The defending at times was just woeful. They got away with a trouncing, and in the end, I think the right result was justified. It finished Leicester City 0, Bournemouth 1. Next game from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or White Hart Lane. Tottenham Hotspur v Brighton Hove Albion. Now, some talking points into this game. Brighton were possibly the better of the two teams in the first half. That being said, Tottenham took the lead through Heung-min Son cutting inside, where the defender close to him should show him down the line. Instead, he shows him inside on his strong foot. He unleashes a 20-odd yard curler, and what a goal. Take your hat off to him. You know, Heung-min Son, who hasn't had the best of seasons, but he still can produce moments like that. Then talking points in that game. Matuma's goal. Matuma had a goal disallowed where the ball clearly shows that it hit him on the shoulder, and his goal was disallowed. That was harsh. Hugo Lloris produced one or two good saves in that game. And for me, he just felt hard done by, and I feel sorry for Matuma. But that being said, Brighton got a corner on the right. Ings swinger by Solly March, and what a bullet header by Lewis Dunk. It was fully deserved. 1-1. And in the second half, you could tell that Brighton were really going for it. And they should have had a penalty, in my opinion. I think there was a foul on Matuma. Clearly, Pierre Højbjerg stamps on his ankles that causes him to go down in a heap of pain. And that corrupted, no good, gits, and I'm being polite, Stuart Atwell. Yeah, I'm shouting out his name like that because he's the referee that destroyed the game at the Emirates between Arsenal and Man City last season, the game that I was there, the game that I paid 90 quid for. He destroyed that fixture. Yeah, that referee I'm talking about. I am not pleased with him. But for me, this referee was absolutely atrocious. You could possibly tell he wanted Tottenham to win, like to say he had a bet. And the person in VAR, whoever was in charge, he must have had a bet on Tottenham winning, because I'll tell you something, yeah, Brighton should have had a goal. They had two legitimate goals ruled out. The second one, where Danny Welbeck cuts inside, he hits it. It should have been 2-1 to Brighton. And the ball clearly shows, as Alan Shearer highlighted it, that the ball hit McAllister on the hip, not nowhere near the arm, on the hip. And what happens? It gets disallowed because someone in the VAR control room tells the referee to disallow the goal. So he's had to disallow the goal. That is just daylight robbery. And to rob salt into the wound, Tottenham go on the counter attack. Heung-min Son with the ball lays it off to Harry Kane. Fine strike with a little deflection. 2-1 Spurs. But again, a set piece comes in from Brighton. They get a set piece. I think it's an in-swinging or out-swinging set piece. Lewis Dunk is down in the penalty area. For the simple fact is that Clement Longley, the guy who's on loan from Barcelona, has two hands on his shirt, and I don't know how that has not been spotted. If that's not a clear penalty, I don't know what is anymore. Now, for me, that had to be a penalty and a yellow card. The inconsistency with VAR and the Premier League referees is beyond a joke, beyond belief. And I'm sick and tired of having these conversations about video assistant referees and our Premier League referees. And to top it all off, yeah, the PGMOL have apologised to Brighton for not awarding them the penalties and the goals. Are you freaking for real? Suck your apology. Your apology will not do anything for Brighton. And that could cost them a place in the European that could cost them a European place in the league table. Your apology is ineffective and not accepted at all. Brighton Hove Albion should tell you guys where to stick it. But that being said, Tottenham get the victory, and they just about deserve the victory. So it finished Spurs 2, Brighton Hove Albion 1. Next game from the Molineux, Wolverhampton Wanderers v Chelsea. The return of Frank Lampard in his second spell. He starts off against Julian Lopetegui's Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'll get the words out eventually. For me, you could see there was one team in it in that first half, and it wasn't Chelsea. Wolverhampton Wanderers were knocking the ball around very quickly with a lot of zip, a lot of confidence. They were playing with a lot of freedom as well. And that's because Chelsea had conceded a lot of space to them and allowed them to do their thing. And the goal was beckoning, and what a goal. I mean, the cross comes in, not properly cleared, and Matheus Nunes with a fine strike. What a strike! On a hard volley. Kepa Arrizabalaga, no chance. And if you look at where the ball landed, right at the back stick, the side of the net, keepers in the world will not save that. That was so technically belted beyond belief. That being said, that was well deserved. I mean, Ruben Neves would have been proud of that strike. Even João Moutinho would have been proud of that strike. These are two of their finest hitters in the Premier League when it comes to long distance goals. And for me, Wolverhampton Wanderers were worthy of their lead. Chelsea offered very little in terms of opportunity in the first half, although they had one shot on target. Wolves, I can recall them peppering Kepa Arrizabalaga goal time after time. Second half, Chelsea showed a little bit of fight, but you know, Wolverhampton Wanderers are always going to cause problems no matter what. And problems they caused, they did. And they were valued for the lead. They were valued for the lead, and in the end, it finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Chelsea 0. Southampton v Manchester City at the St Mary's Stadium. There was only one winner there. It looked like it was Manchester City. They were bang-on favourites against bottom place Southampton. That being said, I think Southampton held their own for up to 30 minutes until a moment of quality was produced. Kevin De Bruyne, fine in-swinging cross in the penalty area. And in there, where it hurts, who else? Erling Braut Haaland with the opening goal with a header from 3-4 yards out. He was never going to miss the target. That being said, in the second half, Man City upped the gear level, and Jack Grealish, who was causing all ends of problems, he did play his part in the first goal, mind you, who laid the ball to De Bruyne to produce that stunning cross. Second goal, well, put through by De Bruyne, Grealish races onto it, has a left-footed shot, saved by the keeper, but the way he took it on his right foot, outside of the foot, back post 2-0. And then 2-0 became 3-0. And, well, what a goal by Erling Braut Haaland. He is worth every penny. Nearly £60 million they paid for him. And this season, he goes on to get his 44th goal of the season, 30 league goals of the season, of the Premier League season, and he gets his second goal of the game. And what a goal it was! Overhead kick. The technique was absolutely exquisite, exquisite. Although it hit his shin, but you know what? It don't matter how they go in, as long as they are going in to bulge in the back of the net, and that's what it did. So Southampton, to their credit, showed a lot, some character. They couldn't have their heads down, or else it would be a lot worse. And I think a guy called Mara, from a tap-in, who gets a tap-in from good work from Ginepro, by the way, tees up Mara. He side foots it first time, past Ederson, 3-1. Maybe a glimmer of hope, but no. Southampton were always left open at the back, and De Bruyne raced onto it to try and make it 4, but he was hacked down by a Southampton defender. Or two Southampton defenders. Either way, it would have been a penalty, and it was a penalty well taken and confidently tucked away by Alvarez. So it finished Southampton 1, Manchester City 4. Next, onto Sunday's game. Let's start off with Ellen Road. I will get to the Anfield game, but let's start off with Ellen Road. Leeds United v Crystal Palace. Well, the first 10, 15, 20 odd minutes, Leeds United were on top of their game. They had Palace on the front foot, created probably one or two better opportunities, and deservedly went 1-0 up. Corner comes in swinging, and Bamford unmarked, header right at the back stick, 1-0. Palace, to their credit, responded really well. What can I say? They had one or two opportunities from set pieces. I think Jeffrey Shot hit the post from a set piece. Poorly marked by the Leeds defence, not picking up their opponents, and that's what caused Jeffrey Shot to hit the post. Again, Leeds United do not learn from their warning, and eventually they concede from a set piece, or a cross, should I say. Cross comes in, flick on, and I think Mark Gay gets a foot on it, past Meunier, 1-1. And before you know it, maybe against the run of play, maybe not against the run of play, Palace were 2-1 up. Andre Ayew with with his first goal of the game, he gets on the score sheet, and then before you know, in the second half, he gets onto the score sheet by a fine bit of quality play by Michael Olise, who was fantastic in that game. And then Olise, the provider for the third goal, putting through Eze, who slots it past Meunier, 3-1. Palace were just on the ascendancy, and they looked very dangerous in the counter-attack, and they emphasised that again. Edouard put through, played in. He hits it on his left foot at the back post, 4-1. Leeds United at that time were cut to shreds, even to the point where their fans started to evacuate the exit. And before you know it, to add salt into injury, another goal, a cheap goal to concede, allowing Andre Ayew the time and space to slot in on his right, to slot it past Meunier by using his side of his right foot into the top corner, 5-1. And, well, Mr. Javier Gracia has definitely perplexed and gutted, where Roy Hodgson was definitely pleased inside. And you can see the difference in quality, and you can see the difference Roy Hodgson makes when managing Crystal Palace. So it finished Leeds United 1, Crystal Palace 5. Highest scorers of the weekend, Palace. Liverpool v Arsenal. Now, the first 40 odd minutes, Arsenal in complete control, creating a lot of spaces for themselves, knocking the ball around with confidence and freedom as they've been doing all season. And they started off so quickly, and it's no surprise in the 8th minute that they were 1-0 up. All right, good bit of play by Bukayo Saka. Tries to thread in Martinelli, but Van Dijk accidentally puts him in. And Martinelli makes no mistakes, slots it past Alisson, 1-0. And before you know it, Arsenal go on to create a number of opportunities. Greenwich, Zinchenko with a left-footed effort, saved by Alisson. Then I think there was another opportunity for Gabriel Jesus where Arsenal broke. Swinging cross from the right from Bukayo Saka. Gabriel Jesus was always stretching to convert that into the net, but it was always going high and wide. But make no mistake, Jesus, second opportunity, it comes from Martinelli receiving the ball on the left. He produces an in-swinging right-footed cross. Gabriel Jesus gets up above Van Dijk and Robertson to nod home the second. And then after the 40th minute, well, I'm going to read what Wilfred Mbumba has said. Hang on, where is it? There we go. He says here, Xhaka woke up the Scousers. Xhaka woke up the Scousers, with the thing with Trent. What an idiot, Anfield. What an idiot. Anfield was quiet, Yeah, basically, he's calling Xhaka an idiot. And Anfield was quiet up until the point where Granit Xhaka got involved with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And it woke the crowd up. They found another gear in their voices, and moments after what Xhaka had done and got the yellow card in that time, Liverpool got up the other end of the score. 2-1 Arsenal, and they were lucky to go into the interval. They needed to go into the interval 2-1 up, but they deserved the lead overall. In the second half, you could see Liverpool pushing and pushing to the point where less than 10 minutes into the second half, they get a penalty. Rob Holding with a clumsy challenge on Diego Jota. I don't think there was enough in the challenge to make him go down in the way he did. So go down he does. But justice was served to me when Salah puts the penalty just wide of the post. The wide of Ramsdale's right-hand post. Relieved. Second, the second we got the opportunity to restart, we found ourselves still on the back foot, and with 3 minutes to go, Zinchenko looked so tired he should have come off earlier for Tierney, and Trent Alexander took advantage of Zinchenko, nutmegging him, producing the cross for Bobby Firmino to head at the back stick there, 2-2. And that's a 2-goal lead thrown away. Arsenal would feel it's whether you're an Arsenal fan, coach, player, you'd feel it's 2 points dropped, but it's a point gained. And for Liverpool, it's a point gained, but it's not a point that they really wanted. So in the end, it was a fair result. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. So I've come to the conclusion of the Premier League roundup. I'd like to thank Wilfred Mbumba for commenting. And I'd like to say thank you, and what a pleasure it is to continue to do a live stream with you, whether roundups, match preview, or reviews of Arsenal, or any football content. I am here for your best, for your football scripts, your football streaming. That's what I do. What I do. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, to the boys, to the girls, it's that time again to say thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in, thank you for watching, and saving the best to last. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Again, do look after your friends, make sure you look after your families, and make sure you look after yourselves. More peace, more love, more blessings again. And as I always say, DOG Repping is there to chat to you again. Just remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And do me one more thing. Please remember, always be nice. And I do mean always be nice. Cheers. Good night.